MODOK is the focus of a new stop animated series on Hulu. Right? So let's talk about it. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Justin. I love to watch movies. If you guys love to watch movies too, and Hulu, you guys are in the right spot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. While pursuing his dreams of conquering the world, a supervillain runs his evil organization into the ground. Question of the video: what supervillain should get its own series? Let me know in the comment section down below, and there you can find out my answer. This is a new stop animated series focusing on MODOK, which is a Marvel character created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. He made his first appearance in Tales of Suspense number 93 in September 1967. Patton Oswalt voices the character of MODOK. This is not your typical origin story of like MODOK and a dark and gritty tale of this Marvel supervillain. It's much different. It's a style of animation that feels very similar to Robot Chicken and focuses on MODOK and his family and his company AIM and how he's trying to be a father to his two young children, going through a divorce as well and trying to run this company that's being run into the ground. There is some nods to some other smaller supervillains like Arcade, and nods to Thor and Asgard and Iron Man. So we do get some name drops here and there and some cameos to other Marvel characters as well. This is freaking hilarious. I laughed constantly from beginning to end with MODOK. I really like Robot Chicken with how brief all of the little segments are. It's not that kind of structure for MODOK, but the animation and the humor feels very similar to that. What I found very surprising about MODOK is how much time and effort they went into making him as a father, not so much as a supervillain. We already are established with him as a supervillain in the first episode, and we do get a lot of that within the series, but also the series focuses a lot on him being a father. His daughter Melissa looks exactly like him, has the big head and the floating chair. And his son Lou looks like his wife. And Lou is voiced by Ben Schwartz from Parks and Rec as John Ralphio. And he also voiced Sonic as well. This is an interesting approach to a supervillain that I've always kind of been intrigued by. His look is different compared to your kind of average supervillain, but they really run with the idea that he has this big head and there's a lot of jokes surrounding that. And it makes it for a pretty hilarious series. Like I said, focusing on him being a father, there's some struggles with that because he's always focusing on trying to take over the world and grow his company AIM. So he doesn't know how to be the best father, and watching him be a supervillain and a father, those kind of fish out of water sequences are pretty funny and sometimes a little endearing as well. They tried their best to make it kind of like your average family, a little realistic at times despite it being a stop animated series focusing on this big floating head. They tried to make it the most realistic they can when it comes to him trying to understand his daughter and his son as well. They both have vastly different interests than their father, and he's just trying his best to kind of go along with it all while also trying to run his company and be that big super villain. There is so many jokes in here that I laughed at from especially his son Lou, who's very eccentric. There's a couple episodes where he's trying to plan his bar mitzvah and he has all of these different interests and clothing. It's pretty funny, and Ben Schwartz is there to deliver the jokes. Ben Schwartz is hilarious, and I loved him as this young kid Lou. Melissa is also a standout as well. She's trying to be like your typical teenage girl, but she has the big head and she looks like her father as well. So there's kind of that holding her back. But the series is very self-aware. It understands that it's taking this character that looks a little odd, delivers jokes surrounding its character, the way that it looks, and how supervillains always try to plan things, and heroes like Iron Man and Thor and Doctor Strange come along and stop that. But it's an interesting take on a character and their average life, because when you watch like the Avengers or Iron Man or Captain America, you don't get to see the behind the scenes of a supervillain. We don't have a lot of movies that are focused on supervillains. Lately, we've been kind of getting a lot, especially with Joker having a solo film. But this solo series, you're really able to get an understanding of MODOK and really explain his life and his family dynamics as well. The stop animation is really great. There's a lot of great sequences with MODOK. I loved what they did with certain different Marvel characters, especially there's a scene with Asgard and Iron Man in the first episodes, and some smaller villains that we haven't seen in any kind of form of television or movie be a part of this series. I was really impressed with the way that this series did look, and they went all in with not only making the show funny, but the animation, but the stop animation be hilarious as well. Patton Oswalt is great as MODOK. He's got that nice balance of trying to be that father and also trying to be a supervillain as well. It's got that perfect balance that makes his voice acting charming but sinister as well. If you really haven't known much about MODOK, I'm not sure if this is the series that will kind of explain everything about MODOK. They kind of go into a little brief detail about how he became MODOK and have this big head. But this isn't an origin series, focuses on his big schemes and him trying to take over the world. It's just a fun little series with him and his family. It's something that's different than kind of like a Marvel show or a Marvel Studios movie. Something vastly different. I really did appreciate that. Nice change of pace for a supervillain that I've heard about and read about plenty of times. And it's just kind of different, and I really did like that. The voice acting is really good. It's hilarious from beginning to end. There's some pretty good action scenes within there. They do explore a lot of Marvel property, which I did enjoy seeing. So MODOK, definitely check it out. It's worth your time. 10 episodes, about 24, 25, 26 minutes long. It's a breeze to get through. There's some fun stories in here, like setting up the bar mitzvah, going through a divorce, time traveling, visiting Asgard. You kind of got a wide variety of different stories to enjoy, and it does have a continuing story. It's just not a bunch of random episodes thrown throughout. There's continuing stories involving him and his family, him and his job, and him becoming a supervillain and trying to take over the world. So it's kind of got a nice balance of everything. I'm gonna go ahead and give MODOK a B+. Thank you guys for checking my review for MODOK, the new stop animated series on Hulu. Have you guys seen it by chance? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.